Let's come. Back at it again.
Yes.
Another week. How you feeling, man?
Another day, another month, another Thursday
You know what I mean?
in a barber shop.
Yeah. Bro, we got the boy Kaz coming. How you feeling about that?
I think the advantage of having Kaz is that he's someone who's done meaningful things in terms of like building Mint as a gym and what he worked on previously in another fitness business. So I think there's a lot to learn there.
For me, I know you love the business aspect. I think I want to hear like the human side, because that guy inspires me a lot. I had some very deep convos. I hope that comes like on camera for everyone else.
Yeah.
So he's a deep guy. Kaz is a deep guy.
Kaz is a deep guy. And, I think I can hear my phone vibrate. I think he's just about
It might be him.
It might be him.
Your phone's vibrating. That's crazy. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. Ready to podcast, bro. Yes. I want to talk to that journey of like you as a human being doing the business.
I mean, through 2023, I actually got down to, I was down to like 58, 59 kilos.
Yeah.
My mental was just gone because I had lost everything. You're coming into your house and then your dad just comes and asks you like, how are you? Are you okay, son? And you don't even respond to them. You're just so hurt and devastated and like fed up with everything.
Just before you went through what you went through, there was a lot of people who were around you. And what really annoyed me about that particular phase was how alone you are.
You guys saw me off on the month before I was about to just be like, yo, everything can change in 1 week.
Yeah.
Things can change in 1 day. You could get that phone call the next day. Mint is now the product of the grit, the determination, the not losing hope, the vision that I had. When you feel like some certain collaborations or some certain ideas that are kind of forming, yo, just try it. Just do it, yeah? I think A$AP Rocky said it like, since when did it not be cool to not try? But my advice for that young kid out there, you got to keep that hope alive.
I think there's this Japanese story about taking like broken things and fixing them back with gold. I think that's exactly what you've done.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mantalk.ke. It's a very exciting one today. It's our first guest of the season. And if you're here for the last episode, this is sponsored by Johnny Walker. Reason being, this is a progressive media campaign and it's all about keep walking through life's challenges, keep walking through the good and the bad. And that's what these episodes are going to all be about. We have a very, very special guest. I'm going to let my boy Oscar do the honors and tell us where we are today.
Hi everyone, how you doing? We are at Castro's Man Cave. It's actually where all the greatness began. I think we started Mantalk with Castro's as our first sponsor. And it's really, really exciting to be here, man. But what's even more exciting?
Come on.
Is that we're here with Kaza, Kazina Kaz, Paneer Papi,
AKA.
himself, owner of Mint Gyms and a really, really close friend of ours. Today, the topic that we're going to jump into and the thing I think we're going to focus on is on work and reclaiming what you've lost. And I think this panel, since there's a WhatsApp group where there's this panel, we brought the WhatsApp group here today. So, Kaz, how do you feel? How do you feel being on Mantalk?
I feel great, man. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey for all three of us. We've all been there together for the last 2 years. And but I don't want to say it all happened for a reason because it was definitely hard. But the one thing that stayed through was our brotherhood, and that strong bond that we've had and the support that we have for one another has been tremendous.
Tremendous is the word of the day, ladies.
100%.
Tremendous.
100%.
Tremendous.
This is actually a welcome back because Kaz has been on the podcast before. Kaz has been an integral part of our lives. He's got us in shape. He's got us through tough situations, good situations. And ironically, before we jump into it, this was the last place where his hair was also cut. So very full circle for you too.
I mean, the last time I got a haircut was about 3 years ago, and it was actually over here.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it's grown a little bit.
Just a bit.
Just a tad since then.
Yeah.
You guys remember the mullet?
I do. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know the last time we got a haircut, Kaz? This morning, last week, 5 days ago as well. 5 days previously before that.
Still counts though, right?
So like I'm very jealous. Like I wish I had flowing locks.
Hey man,
Like,
it's not the best. I'll be honest. Sometimes my boy Jesse says if you shave your hair or if you cut your hair, you're finished. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
think that's a good friend.
Yeah, it's a good friend, but I think it's a little bit rude. But he's like, Kaz, if you cut your hair, you're done.
Yeah.
So I am not going to cut my hair. Or maybe I will, just to piss him off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a loss you're not taking.
No.
No.
Fair,
So
fair.
you were here last time, but now you have a different T-shirt on. Tell guys what you do at the moment, as of today, as Kaz. That's a great T-shirt.
Oh,
It's a great
thank you.
t-shirt.
Thank
We
you.
wanted
Great
one.
T-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did tell you, but like
Yeah,
okay.
they're coming. Production's happening.
matching shirts on Mantalk. That would be a
Yeah.
first.
But since you guys lost, I mean, you saw me last night anyway. But
Yeah, we did, yeah.
since last time I was here, I have gone and ventured off by myself, and I started Mint, which is now not a gym but a lifestyle brand. Right now we're focusing on fitness primarily, but it's overall a community that I've tried to engage with to bring people together in all parts of life. Ideally, I want to venture off into, mental health, into nutrition, into everything wellness, and of course burpees.
Of course.
Yeah, a lot of burpees.
A lot of burpees.
A lot of burpees.
Yeah, plenty.
But yeah, I started early last year, and happy to say that I managed to survive the first year, and now we're on year 2 of Mint. So training wheels are off. Now let's see if I've really got it. let's see how we can do.
Yeah.
But it's been a very interesting journey from then to now. I'm sure we'll get into that now, but
Yeah.
through the pod.
Kaz, so before you I want to take a few steps back. Before you started Mint and the excellent business that you've started right now, take us through when and why you started your journey in fitness. When did you fall in love with fitness, and kind of how has it contributed to you today?
So I started in fitness, like I think how we all start. We wanted to look a certain way, look good. But there was an underlying factor when I was 22, 23, and I dealt with a lot of mental health issues. And the one thing that really brought me back to life was, I guess, the gym, anything to do with fitness. And that whole journey at the start of my 20s is purely the reason why I'm here today. When I was in Australia, I was working a high-level corporate job, and I was literally living for the weekends. And that stress, chasing money, chasing that next promotion. The one thing that I had that was constant was like my gym. Yeah. At that time, I wasn't really taking care of myself outside of it, but the one thing that actually grounded me completely was the gym, anything to do with fitness. So when COVID happened and I came back over here, I just went back into that. I just went back into that fitness element, and I did start a gym previously, and unfortunately that didn't work out. But I still wanted to capture that essence of 2022, I call it, which is when I met you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. So forever kind of chasing that feeling of what we created, the community that we built, like the ideology of how you can actually make someone's day better through fitness. When you guys used to come down, we used to share laughs, and we were just vibing. Fitness can really do that for you.
100%.
And I guess my goal now at Mint is to allow people to come into the space in a very non-intimidating environment, and be vulnerable with one another. It's not about looking at someone next to you and be like, oh, this guy looks like crazy, or this woman has the body that I want, but like everyone comes in together and trains and has a good time and has a good vibe, and then you push each other together. I mean, the whole idea of Mint is an acronym. It stands for Move, Inspire, Nourish, and Transform.
Sorry, no story. It stands for what?
It stands for Move, Inspire, Nourish, Transform.
Crazy.
So my idea was that the move is to get your body moving in as many ways as possible. Whether it's my Mint classes, whether it's martial arts, whether it's yoga, whether it's dance, get your body moving. Yeah, that dopamine that gets released in your body, you can't compete with it. There's no better feeling. Inspire is like, you'll probably come into the gym one time where you look at someone that you wanna ideally like look like, or someone that you really mess with, and then you work your way towards getting that, and then you become the inspiration.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the idea of the I. Nourish is now, not only nourish your body, but nourish your mind. And that's where I have actually, I mean, you guys came for the last one. We had a men's mental health day, which I'm
100%.
super passionate about.
Yeah.
And then T is transformed, so become the person that you want to be. So
Okay.
the idea of Mint was that it's a whole lifestyle brand, not necessarily just a gym.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you know what's so, Kaz, you described like Mint in such a beautiful way, but there's so many other facets of you that make Mint Mint. And I think I'll take it to the very first time we met you, because I think personality and business sometimes merge, and that's how you find the purpose, which is Mint right now. So yeah, so I want to touch on like the journey from having a personality, having a business idea. And I want to do this because there's lots of guys with ideas, with personalities, but they don't ever merge and they don't take the step. An example is like this podcast, and why it's very ironic that we're here as well is because for us to be here all these years later with a sponsor like Johnny Walker talking about keep walking, and we're where we started all those years ago, it's spoken to the grit that we've had, that we spoke about last episode. And there's a few fundamentals to keep going through those years that I think people need to understand. So I know you've had yours, and I think the first thing that I learned when it comes to business is like the buck stops with you in every situation. So I want to know from you, like the first lesson that you learned going into Mint and the venture on your own.
Well, Mint wasn't supposed to happen, I'll be honest. Mint happened through, yes, honestly, it was luck. I tried looking for reasons to bring this vision that I had to light. But I think as well for like the audience, like you also got to think practically as well. So like even the places that I was finding were like the rent was just crazy, right? So you have to start thinking practically. And I remember in 2023, like those you guys saw me in those months. It was yeah, damn.
Jeez, yeah.
It was around, I would say, from July to about like October. So those months there were very, very pivotal.
Yeah.
In terms of the idea of going back home day to day and just nothing happening.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
Like you're going out, you're looking at places, you're trying to talk to like people that can invest in your dream or invest in this idea. And at the end of the day, sometimes it just doesn't work. So I had actually given myself a timeline, which was December. I'm like, if nothing happens by December, I'm heading back to Australia.
Right.
So I mean, the idea is, I don't come from money. So as a son, I also wanted to provide for my family, and I know, I'm an Australian citizen. I can go there. I may not be doing what I want, but us as men, like we have to start thinking practically. Okay, I'll go back. I'll get a job, and I'll start again. That's fine. And then through God's graces, I found this location, and when I first looked at it, I actually didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was just like, because I had been at this product, which I was previously at for so long that all I knew was this. Yeah. This was an outdoor place. It was raining the first day I went, so I'm like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And it was only until my dad came down. And this is another thing we need to consider. Your parents just know best sometimes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like your parents, they just know best sometimes. And my dad actually said, no, this is where your classes are going to happen. And I'm like, old man, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And sure enough, that is exactly what Mint is about now. Like we do all our workouts outside. That's what differentiates us from the rest of like the gyms around. But the lesson that I guess I learned through the start was just start. Yeah, if you've been given an opportunity, just start. Like I told you both actually. Like I'm still learning as I go. I don't know what I'm doing.
No one does. No one does.
I really don't know what I'm doing. So like so that young kid or even older kid that's watching, like if you do have an opportunity, like we're living a time now where you can be an entrepreneur, you can follow your dreams and actually make something of yourself. And if it doesn't work out, at least you tried. And that's all I can really bring from this. Like, I'm trying. And
I wish I was also trying like you.
I mean, we're still here, buddy. We're still here 5 years later.
But
Yeah.
like no, like the thing is, I don't think you're trying. I think you're excelling, Kaz. Like
100%.
that's what I'm trying to say. Which is like, you're in this place where I think a lot of lessons that you've learned throughout your career, your life, are kind of being spent out
Yeah.
here and being expressed through. Mint is an expression of you.
100%.
Personality.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it's an expression of you. And recently we had a sit down with other members of Mint, and to see the incredible community of high achievers that like
Yeah.
you've put together. I was so impressed. Like,
No, Mint's a vibe, man.
yeah, like I just wanted to understand, what do you think is the key differentiator between your brand as Mint and other fitness products that we have here in East Africa?
I would like to think that the people that come to Mint because of the expression of like my vision, ideally. You're coming into a gym where it's not aggressive at all. You're coming in, normally you're a beginner to intermediate level. Yeah. You're coming in where it doesn't really matter what kind of fitness level you are, what kind of job you are, what kind you have. Everyone there is on the same playing field. And we have in our classes, we have people that are as young as 18 training with mothers that have 2 kids, and these kind of individuals will never meet in normal life, but they're meeting at the gym, and for me, I find that so dope. And I think what makes Mint different per se is that like the idea of the classes is for the workout to be a bonus. You're coming in to have a good time, ideally. And that community that we've created over a lot of hard work. Like, I remember when we started, like the numbers were just like any good thing, it takes some time. The numbers at the start, like we had, maybe 2 or 3 clients, sometimes there were the class of people who wouldn't show up. And towards the end of last year, like some of our classes were hitting 20 to 25 people, and that has just come from sheer hard work, and the message that's been put across of Mint and the community has just been great so far. And I can't wait for what this year has in store for us.
And that's literally the whole essence of like journey. Well, that's why you're here, buddy, because like the essence of journey, keep walking, is exactly what I've seen. Because
keep
I
walking,
remember,
man.
Honestly, keep walking. And because I remember the very first time I came to Mint, I believe it was the first class. Can we say it was a class? Or was
I've
like
got the picture on my phone.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
insert here. But I remember it was that moment where, and this is what I want to get into as well. You've touched on mental health. You've touched on like friendships and ups and downs and getting a business at the end of it. And sometimes the worst scenarios in your life bring out the best outcomes. And I think that's what happened, because we had to sit down once, and it was when you were here, and now sitting with you like up here. I want to speak to that journey a little bit, because when we sat in Mint and we started doing crawls on concrete, and you told me the weight you were at versus what you're looking at right now. That's an element I want to like talk to you about as well, because you also said that you were going around. I know the story, I want you to say it, because you were going around to different locations, and it sounds like a very quick sentence, but practically that looked like literally going and talking to very many different types of people, trying to negotiate different deals, and at the end, it's still not happening. So there's a lot of guys that, that analogy where you're hitting the rocks and the gold's on the other side, and you turn around because you don't make it. There's a lot of guys that would have gone back to Australia. There's a lot of guys that would not have gone to the next location. So I want to talk to that journey of like you as a human being doing the business, because I've seen that sort of journey as well. So maybe starting from that first class and why you were at that weight and how you didn't lose those locations.
You mean like the weight that I was currently at?
Yeah, because that's a big factor, especially if you're in fitness.
I mean, through 2023, I actually got down to, I was down to like 58, 59 kilos. I wasn't eating, I wasn't training. My mental was just gone, because I had lost everything in that 2023 period. I had lost relationships, I had lost resources, I had lost like the actual meaning of like why I was really here. So as a man like who has just turned 30, from starting from scratch, it was that kind of pain, and that I had never felt before. So that journey of like restarting, everyone says like that 1 year of like 2023 was the hardest year of your life, but actually 2024, now the growth is actually the harder year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because when you've lost everything, all right, cool.
You're just there.
You're there.
Yeah.
You've lost everything.
Yeah.
Right? But now starting a business, okay, now I've actually got something to lose. So that 2024 period of when me actually starting Mint, starting to find out how to run a business, like an actual service, bringing people in, that in itself it was a beautiful journey. Like I loved doing it, but at the time I didn't like doing it because where I was previously, I had a team.
Yeah. And that pressure on one person now.
So like when entrepreneurs say that it's a very lonely thing, that loneliness is like it was really affected me as well, because you're very vulnerable as well.
100%.
Your product could suck.
Yeah. You don't know until you try.
Yeah, your service could suck. People may not be messing with what you've done, and because for me, Mint, when it happened, was like, it was God's grace, it was luck, it was all of these things. But when I got it, I'm like, oh, sweet. There's no plan B for me.
Yeah.
There was no plan B. Like I was like, all right, well, I cannot lose now. Like I cannot lose. So going through that process of 2024 of just building a product, building a team,
How did you sorry, take you back for a second and for interrupting, but I just wanted to spend some second on the process, like how you actually like built the product, like how you envisioned Mint, how you kind of built the team, how you moved from location to location, how did you find the right location, like what pieces needed to come together for you to actually like build the fantastic business that we're looking at now.
So towards there was a time in that 2023 period where I was looking at locations in Kileleshwa and Kilimani.
Why there?
Because that is where my clientele at the time was. So my mindset was in that area, because that's the only area that I knew. That's the area where people knew me as Kaz, as the trainer Kaz. Yeah, so I wanted to.
But you know me, I'm from Kiambu.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm wondering why didn't I have a branch?
Yeah.
But
2026.
There we go.
Inshallah. So those are the areas, Riverside as well.
Yeah.
And at that time, there were opportunities that were there, but like some of the costs were they just didn't make sense. And you being a finance guy, you would have told me the same thing. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like practically, yeah, dreams are dreams, but you have to be like, all right, well, this may not work. So going from, and then also I had to use other people's money as well. Like I had to actually go to these people that I was pitching, who I really didn't like mess with, to be honest. It wasn't like it was like I was doing it like because I needed something to do. Like I needed something to do. I had nothing else, so I was just doing door knocks and finding out these individuals that are like, all right, cool. Well, you've got a gym over here. Why don't I run it for you? There was a few cases of that, and we got to the final stages of me possibly running that, and it was nothing like Mint. But I just had to go through that journey, that door knocking journey. At the place that we were at previously, I probably went to 20 apartments around there, just looking for facilities to train out of, because I did have some core people that would follow me. So I just okay, maybe this could be something. Oh no, maybe this could be something. But it just never worked out, and it shouldn't have worked out because those were not the right locations.
It makes sense now. But when you got to like number 15, 16, 17, you're like, what is this for? Was it the people behind you, or was it the will inside you that's like, has to work regardless? Because it sounds like a great story when it's worked. Yeah. But someone might be on door 14, 13. Yeah. How did you keep getting up every morning? I'm going to go talk to somebody else to stay. Like, what was that process like for you practically?
Faith.
Wow.
It was just, I think one thing that I never lost was my hope and faith. I think as a man or a woman, I think once if you lose hope and faith, then you're in some sticky trouble. Again, going back to that thought of that 2022, that was so strong in my mind of like the things that we did in 2022, like the feeling that I felt in 2022, like it was unlike I've never felt before. So I was always chasing that feeling, and for me, not trying the next day wasn't an option. So like those months, I only had 2 clients at that time. The only way I was making, because I had no money, I had lost all my money. So I had 2 clients, and my daily routine was I would wake up at 4, take mom's car, and then drive to the first location to train my first client.
Yep.
From 4:45 to 6 o'clock. Then I would drive home, give mom the car, then I would catch a boda to my second client, and then train her,
Yeah.
and then come home, and then start making my phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, maybe 2 months into that, it I'm human. Yeah, it really got to me.
100%.
And there was a time that you guys actually reached out, and I met up with you guys, maybe after like a few months, because I just disappeared. No one knew. No one knew where I was. I had completely disappeared. But I was just going through that phase where I was incredibly broken as an individual, because I needed. Again, I'm a 30-year-old man, like starting from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would play on anyone's mind.
100%.
So that process was now even thinking back to it, was an incredibly lonely time.
Yeah.
But hey, we're here now.
You know what's really got me about that time, it's even occurred to me now, is how just before, and this is like, it still eats at me sometimes, because it was just before you went through what you went through, there was a lot of people who were around you. So like you were surrounded by human beings, like bodies, right? Just surrounded by people who are like, yeah, you know, Kaz is our guy, like Kaz and what he's doing. And because you previously built something different that time. And what really annoyed me about that particular phase was how alone you are. And like, I was like, this is so typical for every young guy, right? Like any guy who's ever been to that place where you're at rock bottom, it's like very few people are there with you. And that's the thing that usually jumps out. It's never the guys who you think, and you know, that's the thing that also really jumped out, was like, so the guys who you think are going to be the ones who are helping you up sometimes. It's going to be the unexpected people who recognize like the goodness in you. When the ones who are closest to you probably didn't. And like, I think that I remember that meeting, that was what really bothered me about it. I was like, but like when everything was good with Kaz, he was like surrounded by human beings, and when he hit rock bottom, they disappeared. And now in this different phase, ironically, I'm not seeing many of them anymore as well. So it's like this it's like life puts you through this sanitation phase of like cleaning you properly before it like gives you the blessings it's supposed to give you.
It's a beautiful lesson, because you sometimes need that cleanse for the next part of your journey.
For the next part of your life. Like it was like, that was what stood out for me when at that point of in Kaz's life, since we were in that WhatsApp group together. It was just like, where are they? Like, where are the guys who are applauding, who are clapping, who are there for Kaz when he was doing this other thing, when everything was nice, when we were going for trips in Watamu, you know, like when we were doing all these little things that we're doing. I was just like...
Do you know what's crazy? I think one of the biggest lessons there was that you can make really magical moments, because now we sit back and look at that. We had a conversation like, what's going on with Kaz? Let's call Kaz. Kaz didn't know we're having that conversation until we reached out to him. And we didn't realize how pivotal that phone call was for you at that moment. Because now when we did the men's mental health day, we stood at the gym. No, we stood on the panel. And you said you looked across to us and you're like, I remember that day when you were one of the only people that called. And we had that chat at rock bottom. And now we're sat here with a room full of men. And that whole thing just comes from the grit and what was in your mind now kind of manifest in front of you.
The vision was always real, man. The vision was always real. Like I got emotional thinking about it, because I was sitting over here and then I saw you two over here, and I'm like, I remember the time, because I caught a boda there to come see you guys. I couldn't afford a boat. I didn't have that much money in my M-Pesa where I actually couldn't come and see you guys like that. As you remember, I didn't eat anything that
And I was
day.
wondering, I was like, why is this guy not eating? Like, what's...
I had no money, man.
But
But
wild.
you guys definitely have always showed love, and like, you know, it's been incredible. One of the things that really I know we want to get into the business side of things, but and you guys touched on it, especially you, Eli, on your first episode about friendships, yeah. And yo, the friendships that I banked on in that time, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
For me, honestly, because like there are a few individuals, you know, there was in that time particularly there was my friend Ite who really like looked out for me because I had no one else around me, you know. We were both going through like traumas in that particular part of life. And then there was my brother Naeem. Naeem was my training partner. Yeah. We just started working out together and that became therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
So I used to come back to Naeem and just be like, oh man, this happened, and we would just kind of like push against each other.
Yeah.
And then there's a time when he went to Lamu, and then I just sent him a picture of the keys of my gym, of the new gym. And everything kind of just fell into place. But you have to go through those times. I kind of make a joke about it. Is like God kind of when he sees you, you've had enough. He'll be like, hey, Oscar, man, this guy's gone through enough. Let me help him just a little bit.
He's learned the lesson. Yeah.
But like the whole thing of like manifestation and all this stuff, yeah, I get it and I believe in it. But you also got to put in the work for it to come through.
Yeah.
And Mint is now the product of the grit, the determination, the not losing hope, the vision that I had, and also yes, there is some luck involved. When that luck is there in your life, like take it.
100%.
Like don't let it go.
Yeah.
Like do not let it go. If you're like, oh wow, this is a special time right now. Yo, don't not take it for granted because it can be gone like tomorrow. Yeah, I know that sounds a little bit corny, but it's true.
Yeah, it's facts. It's facts.
Actually true. So when you feel that energy around you and you feel like some certain collaborations or some certain ideas that are kind of forming, yo, just try it. Just do it. Yeah. I think ASAP Rocky said it like very, very well. He's like, since when did it not be cool to not try?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So just try, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Let me just want to contextualize kind of this conversation that we're having and the climate that we're in, right? So unemployment is at an all-time high in Kenya. We are not talking about it. No, very few podcasts are talking about it, but it's at an all-time high. The gig economy is also shrinking because the economy is it's like we're experiencing an economic slump. Like economic growth has slowed down, right? So there's a lot of young people who have ideas and are trying to explore, right, their talents, right? And we've been blessed enough to do that through the work that we're doing and through the different things that we're doing, right? And the grit and the story that we're telling. So what would you tell kind of the young guy who's listening to this, like despondently in their room, like at rock bottom, like you've applied to 10 million jobs, you have no work, you know, you have this skill or whether it's fitness or this passion. So what would you tell that like young man or a young woman listening to this from home?
It's such a deep question because sometimes you do want to give up and unfortunately you don't see the other side. You know, and that's what breaks my heart. There are those circumstances where it just doesn't happen sometimes at that particular time, and that's devastating. Like for me, man, it wasn't supposed to happen at that time, and when it did happen, it was, I'm not gonna let this go. But my advice for that young kid out there, or even older, like it's fine. You got to keep that hope alive. That's it. When I was getting rejected by like all these places and these individuals that would dangle money in front of me and then pull out last second, which I know we've kind of faced that all.
Yeah, man. When you're in an interview and then you're in the last phase,
you're in the last phase.
You've not had a job for months. Nah, man.
I had to learn how to like make decks and this and that. And it was all for nothing. It was all for nothing. You know, during that time. I would actually like learn. I'm like, okay, how do I do this? You know, I want to make it look like professional. Going to meetings and these people come in like an hour late, 2 hours late, and they're like, yeah, we'll get back to you. Nothing ever happens. Yeah, don't give up on that faith. Yeah. But in the same sense, you know, I know it's easier said than done. I am the definition of it's easier said than done. I know that very, very Truly, I do know that. Like I said, I was on the verge of leaving.
Yeah.
So I understand how hard it is, and I understand when you have to go back to that house and look at your parents in the face. They're asking you how you're feeling, and you just don't even want to give them a response.
Bro, it's
How, like,
yeah.
do you know, like, I
Like,
always
bro,
feel like
going into your house, you're
You're
I
30.
I don't want to get emotional, but you're coming into your house, and then your dad just comes and asks you like, how are you? Are you okay, son? And you don't even respond to them because you're just so hurt and devastated and like fed up with everything that you also take your anger out on the people that love you the most.
Yeah.
You know, that's a time where I put my hands together and I'm like, yo, like, I'm sorry. Like, but they knew that I was going through some serious times. So like this individual that's listening, that has that dream or has that idea of opening up a gym or opening up a media setup, whatever the case may be, you know, don't lose that hope. Don't lose that faith. We are in a time right now where anything is possible. Yeah. Anything is possible. You can definitely do it. Like, I'm in a position where that was not supposed to happen, and it did happen. I was forever chasing that feeling that I had. Yeah. So, but it goes back to my first thing is keep having that faith and keep having that hope alive. That if it will happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
You know, it may take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Like for me, it took like about 4 months. But 4 months in the big scheme of everything. Now Mint is on its second year.
Yeah.
But those 3 months, 4 months of me not stopping, not quitting, brought me over here. You know, I had that conversation with you guys. You know, you guys saw me on the month before I was about to just be like,
Yeah.
yo, everything can change in 1 week.
Yeah.
Things can change in 1 day. You could get that phone call the next day.
And do you know what's crazy? Like, and because I've watched The Journey.
You've watched it. You
there-
both have watched
yeah,
it.
Oh my goodness, what a watch! What a movie!
Yeah.
There's something that we discussed once at my house, and because I think sometimes we can say the beginning of the journey is it's really hard, and once it gets better, you're going to be chilling. But even when you've got your 1 year in, we sat at my house, and we were talking about business and stresses, and we're like, do you ever sometimes just feel like a fraud? And we say that to each other, like I've built this, but there's those days where you feel like a shadow of yourself.
Yeah.
And why I want to say that is because a lot of the time it can be glamorized when you see the result.
Yeah.
But the path that you've taken, Kaz, is one where I've seen, although we said we felt like fraud sometimes because we don't feel like ourselves, the journey you've took has had so much integrity. And I think Oscar spoke up to the climate of where we are at the moment. And a lot of guys might choose a different path and a quicker path that doesn't have that integrity with it. The reason I say this is because I've watched you make your space such a safe space for people and prioritize the people and the product over money and build things like gradually. So I want to know where that integrity came from and where the moral path came from, because I've seen it like every single day in your business, and some people have not seen it in. So I want to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great question, because I'm also curious, like, what does that North Star, what's your North Star, and what kind of guides you? Because there's a lot of peace in your life right now, and like there's a lot of strength that you've had to draw from, and what guides you, like in terms of your moral code and kind of your principles, and what keeps you focused on the ball?
I mean, when it comes to my moral code and everything, that's my parents.
Wow. Yeah.
That's my parents. I guess also because of my upbringing and everything, I have never, if I felt it in here that this is wrong, I wouldn't go for it. Yeah. Again, like when it comes to business, I wouldn't say like I'm a businessman yet. I am a businessman, but there's certain things that I do at my gym at Mint that other people wouldn't do. You know,
But it's the right thing.
but for me, it is now what you're saying, the integrity. Yeah, I am more excited for the relationships that I can build. Yeah, it's a risk that I'm willing to take. Yeah, I mean, we are in Nairobi, so people can take advantage of that for sure, 100%. But even when it comes to like my clients, my personal training clients, I normally say, let's first see if the chemistry is right.
Yeah.
Like let's give it a let's see if you're getting enough value out of me and vice versa. Yeah. And let's see if the chemistry is right. So I normally say like let's just work out for a week. Let's see how we feel.
Then the money's second. That's what I've noticed.
Money is always second, because I would do this for free. I have been doing it for free.
Yeah.
To certain individuals, but because of that, it has paid off for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been able to meet such incredible humans like in this journey because of that approach alone. Yeah, and yeah, I may be leaving a lot of money on the table, you know, but in my way, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But in the sense of like the integrity part, I just go with how I feel. Like if I feel a certain way about a situation, then I'll go with my gut. The one thing is I've gone with my gut with everything. If I have a certain feeling this is not the right time or the right thing, I won't do it.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work out, that's on me.
Yeah. Facts.
But going with your gut instinct has brought me to this situation. There was a time where I was leaving my other establishment, right? And there were individuals who were telling me to go back.
That's crazy. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to the boy Jesse, that's my bro. He's the only one who actually told me, he's like, nah, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you just need people in your life that kind of like show you that you've got this. You've got this.
Yeah.
Yo, there were times where I was like, man, should I go back? But I was like, nah, I can't. I can't go backwards now, man. I cannot. I'm like, let me go with my gut instinct. Let me just do it. And if anything goes wrong, it'll be on me. You know. So
Yeah, but like when I think about it, given the amount of support that you've gotten, your friends, your gut, your gumption, the amazing upbringing that you've had, the thing that really jumps out at me, like whenever I think about like those ingredients, like, you know, the support, the love, the family, your gumption, who you are, the skills, the talent, it's how you turned that negative situation that you're in, which is the collapse of a business. Because let's be honest, we haven't talked about it here, where your former gym, the former business that you were running collapsed and you had to like rebuild from that perspective. And now you've done a full like 360 and you've even created a brand that, if you ask me, business-wise is even more dynamic, right? And much more, I think, honest.
Yeah.
It's a very honest business. Like it,
honest is a good word. Yeah.
it's a very honest place, right? And and like that's, you know, I think there's this Japanese story about taking like broken things and fixing them back with gold. To get the word.
Wow.
So like I think that's exactly what you've done. And I think that this next level that you're about to enter, especially with Mint, because I think soon you'll be investable. You'll be telling us you're doing a seed round, a pre-seed round. Hopefully we'll be a pre-seed seed round. Hopefully we'll have a little bit something start somewhere to kind of join you on that part of your journey. But man, Kaz, I just wanted to say, like, it's been a blessing knowing you. It's been a blessing seeing you bless others, and like the resilience and strength that you show continues to inspire everyone. Guys, if you haven't checked out Mint, it's right near the Arbor.
The Arbor, yes.
On James Gushuru. Please take some time, park your car, just pop in and say hi to Kaz. You'll find a smiling Indian Jesus saying hi to you, and like, man, like it's just a massive congratulations on what you've done, Kaz. And I'm really blessed to have you in my life as my boy, and to kind of learn from your insights and to listen to you speak. I don't speak much when you speak, by the way, as you've noticed. Like this episode, I'm just like listening, because the lessons that you teach and kind of the way you live your life is a mad blessing. So thanks.
But before we kind of finish off, you know, I just want to also give you guys your flowers as well, because in that time period that I was going through, when I coming from Australia, you know, I had a very, very strong group of like friends, and last year I really wanted to form some really strong male friendships, you know. And you guys, the support that you get from like the brothers around you, it really does uplift you, you know. And you know, I know me and Eli have had a crazy journey last year where we've been on the phone, in person, and you guys have always showed love to me, and I will always have time for you guys, because for me it's like, I don't want to do this alone, man. Like, and nor should I. Like, if I call you my brother, man, I'll call you up when I have something bad to say, or I need someone's advice. At the same time, when you called me when you had just received this job, I was there on the phone. You know, you would call me from month to month, you know, and we would check in on each other, you know. Eli, with you, you know, I was calling you at I was calling you at some really, really rough times, and you, when you picked up and you dropped things and you came to me, like, we don't take that for granted, man. You know, like, and it's been a beautiful time with you guys, and I really do appreciate the love and support that you guys have always shown me and the gym. You know, so you know, from the bottom of my heart, man, thank you a lot.
Yeah, so keep walking, guys.
Wait.
That's what we're saying.
Before we walk, we've talked about Kaz, the businessman, right? But you're here, yes, because of the business. That's fine. It's doing very well. But outside of giving us like health and a good location to do that, you've taught me quite a lot of lessons. I think I spoke about it in the first episode. The idea of putting the first foot to vulnerability so people can follow. That was you. I don't think I said your name in the episode. That was you. That was the moment where Kaz taught me, like, it's okay to call someone in your darkest moments, and the opportunity for them to be your friend. That was you that taught me that. Another thing you taught me was the day that we went to the office and we called you. After that, I realized that that's something you do for other people. That's something you've told me about, stories where people have been in their darkest hour and you're not even close to them, but you send them that text message. And then they look and they say, wait, nobody else around me has sent that text message. So I remember there's some random Mondays where Kaz will just text you and be like, by the way, just a reminder, like, you're a winner. Whatever happens this week, you've got this. And if it is going wrong, I'm here. And just keep looking forward. And then you're the serenity quote, God grant me the serenity to, you know, etc. Like, those are lessons I think a lot of guys don't get to learn from their friends. They'll learn it from a virtual mentor, but they won't see a friend of theirs implement it and inspire them to do that. Because I know personally, when it comes to reaching out to people, when it comes to calling people, terrible. I'm the worst. But I've learned from also Oscar as well. Like, one thing you're going to do is tell me when something's up on the phone and you're going to express yourself. And I've learned that from you guys, like opening up. And that's what this whole podcast has always been about, opening up. And I think it's only been in the darker times when I've been able to implement that practically. And that's because I've been inspired by yourself, by you, by my boys back home as well. So there's flowers when it comes to business, yes. But then there's flowers when it comes to you as a human being and showing me the path when it came to vulnerability, because I might have been a bit more theoretical than practical until I met you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. That means a lot. Yeah.
Didn't
I'll be sending those messages.
I was looking for tears. No, it's fine. I was like, wait, can we read that?
Yeah.
We
I was
need
gonna
to
say.
shoot another one.
Yeah.
They'll come. I'm gonna cry, man. I'm gonna cry. Don't
I
worry.
know.
We didn't win this time.
Yeah.
But like, mad episode. And thank you so much, guys, for doing this. We'll keep bringing you on, man. Like,
Hey, man.
we want to hear more about Mint and kind of where you're taking next. Guys, before we shot, he was looking at, you can't see from your side, but he was looking at this building saying, you know, I'm going to build a floor. It's going to cost me.
Yeah.
You know, now he started doing,
He's just
he started
different.
telling us about the plan, the future. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, Kaz.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're here. The hair might be longer then as well, or shorter. You never know.
You never
100%,
know. You
yeah.
never
I might get a
know.
haircut right now.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so that thing, like we said, the reason you're here is because of those two assets that you have as a human. And also one of the things that I'm loving about this conversation, the timing of it, is the fact that when me and you were here all those years ago, we didn't realize that we would be back here with a sponsor that actually aligns with what we're about. Because our journey has been a lot of, you said decks, many decks. It's been a lot of, do you believe in what we're doing? Yes, however.
Do you know,
But-
actually,
Yeah.
I'll remind you,
Yeah.
when we shot here last is when we registered the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was actually, it was very
appreciative.
like,
Yeah.
So, it's
So
true.
the point I was making is I want to say a massive thank you to Johnny Walker and to the fact that, yes, there's that brand, but then the progressive media side, that is literally about getting guys on a chair like Kaz, having a conversation, and then putting money behind it. That, for me, is the ultimate partnership. I just want to say thank you to the guys at Johnny Walker as well. Thank you to Kaz for your time. You fit into the mission of this episode perfectly. Perfectly. I'm very blessed to have you in my life, brother, for sure. For sure.
Likewise. Thank you so much for the opportunity, guys.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Safi.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
Please.
for watching. We
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed this episode. Oscar, I hope you enjoyed this episode
half as much.
as we enjoyed making it.
Because we had a ball.
Oh, ball. We had a ball. We had a
Yeah,
ball.
we
We had a
did,
ball.
we
We
did,
had a
we
ball.
did. Yes,
Thank you,
B-roll
guys.
of the barbershop starts here. We want you to see the place.
See you next week,
some
guys.
of you have not
Oh,
shaved.
okay. Yes.
January,
Yes.
you have not shaved. I am looking at you.
This is the
I am looking at you. Have you gone to the barber
not the
shop since
audience.
Christmas?
I'm so
Yes.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so
But
sorry.
yes.
See you next week.
By the way, Eli got this because of me. Yeah. This is
Yeah, by the way.
This is Kaz.
There's another
Yeah, that's
individual,
definitely
but
guys.
yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
definitely
no.
I wanna
guys.
take
yeah.
it.
No,
Yeah,
it was
it's definitely guys.
that's a lie.
All right, guys, have a good week and survive.
Survived. Yes, keep walking,
Keep
baby.
walking.
Keep walking. See you next
I
week.
love it.